Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has come back on set. Kaveh, oh my goodness. How do you react to that?
Well, look, the first thing you should say is that referees are human beings. They make mistakes like everybody else. They were working there in a very highly pressurised environment, and they made a mistake, and it was a big mistake.
Arsenal were left seething, disillusioned, and feeling blatantly robbed after yet another VAR controversy denied them what appeared to be a clear and undeniable penalty in their fiercely contested encounter against Chelsea. In a match already dripping with tension, history, and rivalry, the officiating decision became the dominant talking point, overshadowing the football itself and reigniting long-standing frustrations surrounding VAR and its inconsistent application in the Premier League. From the opening whistle, Arsenal approached the game with urgency and authority. Mikel Arteta's side dominated possession, pressed aggressively, and repeatedly forced Chelsea into defensive errors. Declan Rice dictated the tempo in midfield, Martin Odegaard orchestrated play between the lines, and Bukayo Saka was a constant menace down the right flank, repeatedly isolating his marker and driving into dangerous areas. Chelsea, meanwhile, looked reactive, content to sit deep and rely on counter-attacks rather than assert control. The defining moment arrived midway through the second half, at a point when Arsenal's pressure felt inevitable. Saka collected the ball just inside the penalty area after a slick passing move involving Odegaard and Ben White. As he attempted to cut inside and deliver a low ball across goal, a Chelsea defender lunged recklessly, missing the ball entirely and making clear contact with Saka's trailing leg. The Arsenal winger was sent tumbling to the turf. The reaction inside the stadium was instant. Thousands of Arsenal fans rose in unison, arms raised, fully expecting the referee to point to the spot. Instead, play was waved on. The disbelief quickly turned to anger when VAR checked the incident and, astonishingly, decided against recommending an on-field review. Slow-motion replays only deepened the sense of injustice. The Chelsea defender's foot clipped Saka's leg, disrupting his stride and denying him a clear goal-scoring opportunity. There was no touch on the ball. Under the laws of the game, it ticked every box for a penalty, careless challenge, contact inside the area, and a clear impact on the attacker's movement. Mikel Arteta's fury on the touchline was unmistakable. The Arsenal manager gestured emphatically toward the pitch, shouting in disbelief as he confronted the fourth official. On the field, Odegaard, Rice, and Gabriel Jesus surrounded the referee, pleading their case. Even Chelsea players appeared hesitant, knowing how fortunate they had been to escape punishment. The decision proved to be a turning point. Arsenal, momentarily deflated, lost some of their attacking rhythm. Chelsea used the pause to regroup, slow the tempo, and regain composure. What should have been a golden opportunity from the penalty spot instead became a psychological blow, one that shifted the balance of the contest. Statistically, Arsenal had every right to feel aggrieved. They registered more shots, more touches in the opposition box, and significantly higher expected goals. Yet once again, a crucial decision went against them at a decisive moment. What has amplified the outrage among Arsenal supporters is the glaring inconsistency. Similar challenges elsewhere in the league, sometimes involving far less contact, have resulted in penalties after VAR intervention. Only weeks earlier, comparable incidents were punished without hesitation. This has led many to question the very purpose of VAR if clear and obvious errors are still allowed to stand post-match. Arteta chose his words carefully but left no room for ambiguity. He spoke of decisions that change games, standards that must be applied equally, and the growing frustration of preparing his team meticulously only for outcomes to be influenced by subjective officiating calls. While avoiding fines or sanctions, his message was clear: Arsenal feel repeatedly undermined. The fallout online was immediate and explosive. Former players, refereeing analysts, and football pundits shared clips of the incident, many calling it one of the most obvious penalties of the season. Fans flooded social media with freeze frames, slow-motion edits, and comparisons to penalties awarded to rival teams. The consensus was overwhelming: Arsenal had been denied justice. This incident also taps into a deeper narrative. Over recent seasons, Arsenal supporters have grown increasingly vocal about perceived inconsistencies in refereeing decisions involving their club. Whether justified or not, moments like this reinforce a growing mistrust in the system, particularly when transparency remains limited and explanations rarely satisfy those affected. In a season where margins are razor thin and every point can shape a title race or Champions League qualification, decisions like this carry enormous weight. A single penalty can swing momentum, confidence, and even long-term outcomes. For Arsenal, this was not merely a missed call, it was a moment that could define their campaign. As scrutiny intensifies, the Premier League and PML once again find themselves under pressure. Calls for clearer communication, public release of VAR audio, and consistent interpretation of the laws are growing louder. Arsenal fans, in particular, will be demanding accountability and answers. While the final scoreline may be recorded in the history books, the controversy will linger far longer. Arsenal may have left the pitch without the penalty they deserved, but the sense of injustice and the debate surrounding VAR's credibility will continue to rage on long after the final whistle.